Welcome to Grotesque, British Columbia, where we share both true and fictional stories of cryptids and the paranormal from here in Canada and abroad. The Wendigo will not let you go. My name is Eric. I grew up in interior British Columbia city of Prince George. I used to enjoy the outdoors, going on frequent hikes in the surrounding area. I've heard of local indigenous legends, but mostly thought of them as just folklore and felt as long as I was cautious, I was not too worried about predators. Boy, I would be mistaken. So, as usual, one Saturday after breakfast, I decided to make the drive out to the ancient forest just off Highway 16. I had arrived and grabbed my backpack with water and snacks from the passenger's seat and began my trek. After nearly an hour, I had walked a few paths and passed a few other hikers, but something was off about the next trail ahead of me. The forest around me had gone strangely silent. I looked and listened, but never saw or heard anyone. Seeing as I planned to finish my hike soon, I decided to just hit that trail ahead before heading back to my vehicle. As I walked the path, I began to feel observed, but thought nothing of it. Maybe there were other hikers nearby. I just hadn't noticed them. Or just animals. Yeah, just animals. As I thought this, a voice from the trees ahead startled me, but what it said and what I saw gives me nightmares to this day. "Eric," said the raspy, haunting voice. "You are lucky, Eric." Alarmed now and afraid, I called out, "Who are you? What are you doing out there?" I had no idea who was out here that would know my name. Maybe an old friend or somebody I hadn't seen in a while happened to be out here and thought it'd be funny to scare me, I reasoned. I began approaching the sound of a faint clicking and slurping noise. The voice began again. "Eric, come see what could have happened to you and still might." This could not be anybody I knew. I stopped in my tracks and looked around, catching movement on the ground, obscured slightly by the bushes, but I could see enough. The pale, dead face of a male hiker was showing through gaps in the leaves, as a large deer-like being with sharp teeth and huge antlers gorged on the dead man's intestines, the rib cage torn aside, allowing this thing to eat and slurp easily. It then looked up to grin as gore dripped from its mouth. My own mouth became agape as I saw its gaze. It had slit, narrow pupils and a bulky body that seemed to be starting to decompose. A Wendigo, I thought, my mind thinking of the cannibalistic spirit which appears in many indigenous legends. I yelled and ran back in the direction of the parking lot. It was crashing through the bush, behind me, chasing me. My heart raced, as I believed I was about to be caught, but just as it seemed it was right behind me, it stopped and seemed to vanish back into the forest. I looked ahead to see other hikers near the entrance to the path I was on. I had made it and went straight to my car. The hikers wondered why I looked scared, but I figured they would not believe me, thinking I had some sort of manic episode. I said I just ran as part of my hike and then proceeded to go home, aware of the stares I was getting behind me. When I got home, I immediately confirmed my suspicions that it was indeed a Wendigo. I was afraid it would begin stalking me, and right I was, as that night I could not shake the feeling of being watched from the trees around my home. Sometimes I would catch a glow of those narrow pupils staring through me, as if I was still in the forest with it. I went to bed but couldn't sleep, as I was being watched even with the blinds closed. It doesn't want to let me go, I thought. I could hear it in my mind, saying my name. Eric, come back. I knew I had to rid myself of it, and I had to up with a plan, but it would prepare me to face the other horrors dwelling in the great forests that surround us. To be continued.